the typical like white girl at Starbucks. Like I'm the white girl drinking my peanut butter whiskey spiked eggnog right now. Like I mean, and if you have a problem with that,
Casino trip, full of chips. Wanna flip, double it.
Welcome to the Full of Chips podcast, the only chips you'll never lose, where the stakes are high, the takes are bold, and the conversations are always full of chips. With your hosts, Chris, the Dice Degen, and Craig from Old Bay Craps. You're tuned in to Full of Chips, the podcast where we dive into our own experiences into the world of gambling and share stories straight from the casino floor. Whether you're a recreational gambler, a seasoned pro, or just curious what the buzz is all about, you're in the right place. Each week, we break down the games, talk to the experts, and bring you tips that could tilt the odds in your favor. So grab your lucky charm, stack your chips, and let's roll into today's episode.
what is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 20 of the Full of Chips podcast, the only chips you will never lose, with your hosts, Chris the Dice Degen and Craig from Old Bay Craps. Craig, how are we tonight?
I guess we have to be lucky and thankful because we are at episode 20. Episode 20, that's 20 in. That's a lot. We thought we felt established at 5 episodes in. Maybe even from the get-go, because we thought we were well known already in the craps community, but 20 in, that's an accomplishment. That means that you've stuck around because somebody tends to like it and we just keep shoveling it out. So welcome. We are at episode 20 and I couldn't be happier.
20, good number. Great episode lined up. I can tell you that already. For the folks at home who have been following since episode 1, you know what comes every 5th episode. And for my mathletes at home, 20 is divisible by 5. So, you know what's coming. You got a guest today, and it's not just Craig and I. We have a third party coming in, which we will introduce to you very, very soon. It's going to be a very sweet show, if you catch my drift. But, Craig, as we always do first, what are you drinking tonight?
That's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. By the way, I believe, and I hope I don't get this wrong, but I don't think Ed Reed was number 20 and Brian Dawkins was number 20. Is that correct?
I can't confirm the Ed Reed thing. I'll defer to you on that one, but Brian Dawkins was certainly number 20.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Here's what I'm drinking. Okay, because we have a guest we're about to introduce, and he may have gone by a few names, but more along the lines people know him by the term sweet. So I went with a sweet vermouth and Coke.
There you go. Right on cue with our guest. I guess I kind of followed that. Now that you mention it, I was going for the festive vibes today. But my drink is a little sweet. Just like our guest and just like Craig. I have in front of me a festive drink. We have eggnog mixed
Ooh.
with peanut butter whiskey.
Wow.
Let me tell you. All right, this is the
I
first
need
time
to
I've ever
buy
had
some
this.
of that.
I'm enjoying this. Now, for anyone at home who wants to call me a bitch, you want to call me a softie, I don't care. All right? I do not care, and I don't care, frankly, what your opinion is of my beverages.
He doesn't care.
This is delicious. Like, this is just like makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and this is delicious. That's all I could say.
You might be that girl what's drunk in the corner just sipping your straw.
Literally.
Leave me alone.
Like, I
Leave me
might be
alone.
the typical like white girl at Starbucks. Like, I'm the white girl drinking my peanut butter whiskey spiked eggnog right now. Like, and if you have a problem with that, go fuck yourself.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And we're not, there's nothing between, it's not man versus woman here, but if it was a woman's drink, there'd be 2 pumps of something. It would
Yeah.
be extra sugar, 2 pumps with the cold foam and a little sprinkle of something.
Facts. And I must say, there is probably more whiskey in this than there is eggnog. So it is what it is. But
It has to
highly
be.
recommend for the folks at home.
There you go.
I love peanut butter. Some people might know that about me. Love peanut butter. Peanut butter whiskey, I'm meh on, but mix it with some eggnog. Whoa.
All right. So up in your state, you have that place, and I always forget the name of the restaurant. What's the restaurant where they put the fries in the middle of the burger? Because they also have alcoholic shakes. And the alcoholic shake they had was a peanut butter alcoholic shake. And I think it had peanut butter whiskey in it. and it was damn good.
Probably does. I'm drawing a blank on the name, to be honest with you. I will figure it
Oh,
out
I can't
eventually.
remember it.
DGen's 28 going on 82 over here, but it's I can picture what you're saying right now. I can think of it. I just can't think of the name of the restaurant. Might have to phone a friend and get the wife to answer because she knows what she's talking about with
To
that
be
kind of stuff.
fair, it's on that west coast of PA, which I know you don't venture out there.
Yeah, I stick to the eastern seaboard
It's
of
for those it's for
Pennsylvania.
those yins with pop. Okay,
There you go. The yins with pop and the ones who like sheets and think Wawa is not the literal shit. But
that's funny. I have around the corner from me a Wawa and a Sheets. So
well, where do you land on this side, Wawa or Sheets?
I have to go Wawa in Maryland, and there are Sheets coming up in Maryland now. But first time I ever had or knew about Sheets was in PA. So
I'm not a big Sheets fan, but I will say for the folks who like to stay up to date on their news and current events in the Philadelphia area, Sheets is building a Sheets in Wawa territory. You're the first one ever, about 20 minutes from me, so not too far. But I can tell you, I will not be going there for any reason. Just not a fan of Sheets. I'm in the
what
Wawa cult. That's what it is.
what the sheet, man? What the sheet?
What the sheet? All right. For the folks at home, you guys know Craig and I like to talk in the beginning, but we won't keep you any longer from our anticipated and from our very, very good friend who we will be introducing very soon. So stay tuned. And our guest will be joining us right after this. Today's guest is more than just a skilled craps player. He's the kind of person everybody at the table wants on their side. A great friend, a steady presence, a model of discipline, and he approaches the game with the same focus and integrity that he brings to every part of his own life. Whether he's dialing in his toss, giving back to the community, or whatever it may be, he shows what it looks like to win with character as much as chips. A pillar of our craps community and our AC Craps group, and a rock solid shooter. Please welcome Lou, aka Steel Legion, aka 2% Lou, and just our good friend Lou. Lou, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for the kind introduction. I appreciate it. And congratulations again, you and Victoria. And hello to my
Thank you,
good
sir.
friend, Craig.
Welcome, Lou. Thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be
Yeah,
here.
we're super excited to have you on, and yeah, we've I mean, I know you, myself, Greg, we've all spent a lot of time together at the tables, texting, whatever it may be. But couldn't think of a better person to have as our guest here today. And for the folks at home, we're going to get into a little bit how Lou got into gambling, why he likes to play, where he likes to play. You've heard him mentioned on other podcasts and stuff before, specifically Casino Tiers and others. And we'll get into some of that stuff. And we'll just get into Lou shooting because I mean, if anybody doesn't know, and you haven't had the opportunity to play with Lou, the most consistent shooter I have ever played with, and I can tell you, I've played with a lot of people. I've never seen someone so consistent. And as soon as that landing zone is not hit, Lou's turning away from the table because he knows exactly what it is. He can call the 7 before it comes. It comes with practice. So looking forward to talking with you today, Lou, and getting into a little bit about your gambling mindset and how you started playing craps and poker and everything else. And I won't steal too much because I need you to tell your own story. But we're excited to have you. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, my return to craps wasn't just about gambling. It was more personal. Some know I was in law enforcement, and unfortunately, I was hit practically head on and I was forced to retire. So I lost my routine, my purpose, and honestly, pieces of myself. I was depressed. It took a hold on me. The highlight of my day was walking to the mailbox. That literally was the highlight of my day until my wife told me I had to do something, and she knew I enjoyed playing poker. She told me to go back down to Atlantic City and play some poker. And with that, I got back into craps. And I was on a couple of Facebook groups, and I owe a lot to Ted Berry, Midnight Express 66. He reached out to me, and the next thing you know, He's introducing me to some of the guys he knows. He forms a Atlantic City group, which was the backbone of our AC group at this point. And through that camaraderie, it got me out of my shell. I know my wife appreciates that. And at my age, as Craig knows, it's hard to make new friends. And it happened. I got some great new friends, some true brothers who I feel are more than friends. They're part of my family now. And thanks to them, they've helped me a lot.
Just for the record, my wife has never told me, Craig, you should go to the casino. Um, I'm waiting for that day to happen, and it's not happening. I usually get, can you go to the store? Can you get groceries? Can you go to here? Can you drop this person off? I don't usually get, can you go to the casino? So I'm interested in that. Uh, but
Years of training, I guess, right, Lou? You gotta train them.
that's
Well,
right.
when your wife operates a cemetery, you do what you're told.
Absolutely. You know,
Maybe she trained you, but the good advice from her to go to the casino. Um, I don't know. I could say Victoria tells me the same thing sometimes. She's like, "Oh, you know, why don't you go do this?" Or again, I always say I'm lucky because she lets me have the boat that's sitting behind me. Um, so she's supportive of it. But having a supportive wife or partner is always nice. And well, I for one am very glad that she did tell you to get out of the funk and go to the casino. Because otherwise I probably wouldn't have met you.
yeah.
And that would have just been truly a shame. So very glad for Dad.
Well, the
No, yeah.
irony, John Pro Craps came out the one year uh, to Atlantic City, and Ted told me about it. And he says, "Why don't you come down and meet John?" Because I did watch his podcast, and I hear this voice, and it was Jeff. And I said, "I know that voice." And then I see Clay. I said, "I know that face." Well, it turns out those two used to play at Borgata playing poker. And that's how I actually first met them playing poker. And again, we hit it off again. There's two more members of our Atlantic City group, which I really enjoy their company. Like you guys know, you can't put a price tag on the camaraderie we have with our group.
No, absolutely. You nailed it when you said, you met Ted, you became part of the Craps crew. Like Chris said, we view you, we're the younger guys, I guess, in the crew. We view you as a pillar of the AC Craps crew, and we look upon you with tremendous respect. We love seeing you guys in AC. Like for me personally, and Chris, you'll get to this. You just got married. I love when every time I come to see you, Lou, in Atlantic City, I love asking you about your grandkids.
Right.
And it's become a thing with us. Every time I come to AC, you show me new pictures. So you nailed it with the camaraderie. You nailed it with it. It starts to become like a family, right?
Yes. I mean, when we first met, I had two grandkids. Now I have nine. Granted, some of the additions are because my two boys are foster parents, but Debbie raised two great boys. Actually, three great boys.
Yeah, they're great to be on. I know I've played with we played some craps with your son, and I know he also plays poker with you sometimes or off on his own as well. So with poker, right? Because I know that's kind of one of your. I know you have two games, right? Poker and craps. What kind of drew you into poker as opposed to any other game in the casino?
Like craps, you kind of control your destiny. When you're the shooter, you have some type of control. And in poker, it's cheap. If I
There
don't
you
like
go.
my cards, I toss it away. It doesn't cost me anything unless I'm playing if I'm on the blinds. And it's a cheap way to enjoy yourself, have good conversations at the poker table, because there are a few guys, regulars that I play with at the poker table. And it's not about winning money when I'm with them. It's all about having a good conversation and spending time with each other. But at the craps table, I enjoy the camaraderie. However, I want to win. I want to win. That's why I'm conservative. That's why I go out and I play a 6 and an 8. And one of the reasons why I play the 6 and the 8 is I throw sixes and eights. I'm a firm believer in Bone Tracker, and thanks to Bone Tracker and my throwing station, I know what sets work for my mechanics that give me those sixes and eights.
So how long have you been with the Craps crew?
I think now it's been at least 4 years, maybe.
Really, only 4.
That
A lot of this seems to have come out of like COVID, right?
Yeah,
Um,
like you said, I've known Ted for about 4 years, going on 5, and I've been playing regularly now for about that long.
did you play poker? Obviously, you've been playing poker for decades.
Yeah, I was started going back to poker for the last 20 years after my retirement, because I've been retired for over 20 years.
So Chris and I talk about our get right game. So for him, blackjack is his get right game. I imagine for you and Jeff, poker is your get right game when things aren't really happening well at the craps table. Do
Yes.
you feel that way?
Yes, if I need a break from the, craps table, especially if I'm down there by myself, I'll go off to the poker room, sit there, relax, wait for some drunk who doesn't know what he's doing, and hopefully he thinks his pair of fours are aces when I have the aces, and things go bad for him and it goes better for me.
There you go. You love to have one of those people show up to the table when you're playing poker and just, they think every hand, like any 2 cards they're given are the best 2 cards in the deck. And like, I don't know how much do you do any like hand tracking with poker, or like, knowing percentages off starting hands and stuff like that? Or is it more or less you're playing, let's say, I don't want to give away your poker strategy. Let's say you're playing more premiums, or it's kind of you feel at the table and figure out kind of what's going on.
Playing my premium cards and suited connectors, and if there's somebody who I know, like there's one woman who only plays aces and kings. If I got 2 rags, I'll call her just to see if I can grab 2 pair against her aces, because she'll just keep betting, not
Yeah,
real.
there you go. Yeah, it's always funny. Like I always say, I wish I had more time to play poker. Um, Maybe when I'm retired, I'll have more time to play poker. But I always love when you get somebody who is playing, just like their range is so wide on the hands they're gonna play that like they could be calling you with something just terrible. Like they're calling you light, and you're just sitting there and you're like, it's like taking money from a baby sometimes. And those are the best ones to play poker with, because you can really chip up quick. If you get them, like you said, drunk guy who's got a pair of fours who thinks he's doing well. I mean, but then again, you have guys who like, and we talk about social media a lot, in terms of craps and blackjack and other stuff. But like even with poker, right? Like a lot of people like the 7 deuce game, and I don't know if they ever run that at Harris at all.
They don't do it. They can't actually have a 7 deuce game, but if everybody gets into it, you can,
Okay,
you're not supposed to toss people your chips unless they win them, but it's more of
gotcha.
a side hustle.
Okay, yeah, it's funny because I was playing once and like this one guy thought like the 7 deuce game was an actual thing everywhere. So like there's multiple times where he was actually playing 7 deuce, and he did not win a single hand. And somebody asked him why he was playing it, and he said because he was trying to win the 7 deuce game. And we were all like, "What game are you like?" We don't play that. It's not like a thing that's on. Like you saw it on social media. Congratulations, you got fooled into thinking that everybody plays the 7 deuce game.
Right.
Because the worst hand of poker.
Yep. He was expecting to get $25 from everybody if he won with it.
Yep, exactly. It's always funny, but I mean, you have those people too at the craps table who come up who have not a clue what they're doing, and just hopefully they're not one buying in mid roll, and two messing up the vibes at the table, because the AC crew can get a little defensive over our guys. Like you buy in when Lou's shooting, you're gonna hear something from one of us. You come stand next to Lou when he's shooting, good luck, because one of us is standing next to him, and you won't be allowed because you can't crowd Lou. Not possible. Stick left one is his and his alone.
Well, Chris, you've talked about it. You've talked about blocking for people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Lou's
Yep.
a stick 1, and I don't mind being a stick 2, and I'll keep things away from Lou. Let Lou,
Yeah.
I'll even step away. Let him. He needs his motion. He needs his arm motion. He needs his space. I'm more than happy to give it. That's the great thing about craps is that you can make your bets and do your changes before and after a roll. But during the roll, just step away and let the person act as if there's nobody at the table.
We all have our
Yep.
good and bad days, but when the AC group gets together, it's nice because everybody knows where everybody's landing zone is. We keep it clear.
Yep.
Some guys don't even shoot. They just pass the dice so certain individuals can get into a rhythm. I mean, a perfect example is Canine Anthony. I mean, he, he hardly shoots, but the man's got a beautiful toss.
He does.
And he's starting to toss more, which is good because he's been getting some nice rolls. He had I think it was like a 60 plus roll the one day. It was beautiful. It was
Wow.
beautiful.
We
Yep.
might have to change his name though, because I know from reading our group text, the 9 has been his nemesis there on that ATS. But
Yes.
Anthony, if you're listening, shoot more, god damn it, please, because I've seen you toss. You can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two
do it.
times
Do
he
us.
needed a 9. And I
Yep.
was gonna hop the 9 the next time the next shooter was, and I didn't, and the guy throws a 9.
Of course he
Maybe
did. That's
change
how it
it.
happens.
Maybe change it to K68 or
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Yeah. No, but it's important too, like when we play with our group, right? Because like with the blocking, like Craig mentioned, and then like Lou said, right, with knowing where people are throwing, where their dice are landing, that kind of stuff. It really helps when we're all on the table because we already know that kind of stuff. So we can, ask people, hey, can you move your chips this way? Or, avoid the drink lady to the point where, I know most of the craps crew's orders, right? Lou, I know your coffee order. I know your Diet Coke, no fruit. Like I know it all, right? So I'm ready when I see the drink lady coming and Lou tells me he wants a drink. Drink lady, please step away. I'll talk to you away from the table. And here's the order. And then when she comes back, bring it to Lou, put it down, and then when Lou's ready, here you go. Here's your drink.
And then I know every once in a while you got to turn to your right because you're looking down because Lou's got a chair, right? So occasionally, and you're like, Lou, it's your turn to shoot. He's on his phone, He's like, oh, it's me again? Yep.
One of the best rolls I ever had was a dual dual roll. And what I mean by that, Clay was shooting at stick right 1. He was into the roll for maybe about 18, 19 rolls, and he goes, Lou, get ready. And he goes, I gotta pass the dice. And the next thing you know, I roll, and it ended up being like a 54 roller between the two of us.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
a nice roll. I walked up on the table during that roll.
That's right. That's
Um,
right. Yep.
yeah, I was playing blackjack at the time because things were not going my way, and I was trying to get right. And I went to go play blackjack and left at the wrong time. I've done that numerous times. You live and you learn, and you can't have that FOMO. You just gotta be happy for the guys who are doing well, and just keep hoping. Pounding those 6s and 8s, and get those up there nice and high. Because when Lou's on, Lou is throwing 6s and 8s. I mean, that's all you need to bet, really.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't forget, finally, Lou knows not to. Lou knows to bet the ATS on himself and the fire bet on himself because Lou hits them more often than not. He hits at least a side of the ATS or a 4-point fire bet or something.
But Lou also knows that for a while now that he does that now, but beforehand, we were all chipping in for his ATS, knowing that he didn't do it himself, and we wanted
Yeah,
him to get a piece
exactly.
of his own action.
Yep.
Yep.
Uh, I still rarely play the ATS, but I'm a more as Craig knows and Chris, I play the fire bet. I play
Yep.
it just
And
happens
you
to
like that table,
yes,
right?
I do. I find that table's very consistent to my mechanics. It's not as bouncy as the ATS table at Harris closest to the cage. Now, the other ATS table closest to the bar, I like that one because it's the table set lower, so I don't have to bend down. I can just
Yeah,
pick the dice up
Yeah.
and it's a nice smooth swing. Well, I shouldn't say swing because I shoot from the deck. This way,
not like that Borgata table that you have to climb in to go down and reach the dice.
that's
Yeah, and
like
then throw them overhand to reach the other side of the table in that aircraft carrier that's sitting there.
that's like the Beau Rivage in Biloxi. that one's so high. I mean, poor Jen has to. She not only does she need her high heel shoes, she needs a step ladder to toss there.
Yeah. So I mean, we know we've played with you multiple places, but I'm gonna two-part this question. So in Atlantic City, right? We know you play at Harris a lot. Would you say Harris is your favorite table, not casino, just tables in Atlantic City, or do you have somewhere else that you also like the tables?
I like the tables at the Tropicana. They're more solid. They're not as bouncy. It's a more solid uh table. The dice stay where they're going to stay. They don't go all over the place. And the reason why I'm at Harrah's all the time is because I can get a game 24/7. Top table doesn't open up until 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And as most of the AC group knows, I like my coffee run because I get to toss the dice. The table's empty. I get them back and I can get into a nice groove.
Yep. Yeah, that's important because like I do also like the tables at the Trop because they are so hard. They're the hardest tables in Atlantic City, I would say. Um and I mean you can hear the dice crack from across the casino is how hard those tables are. But
Yeah.
it is challenging to play there because of their opening times, right? And then sometimes their minimums too. Like sometimes, they're going to be at a quarter while Harris has, $15 game, sometimes $10 game, whatever it may be. But like you mentioned, the coffee run. I mean, a lot of us like the coffee run. We're there at 6 o'clock in the morning, ready to go, right?
Right.
So like, we need that table open, and if you're 6 o'clock at the table at the Trop, you better pitch a tent because you're gonna be waiting there for a few hours.
It's like waiting for tickets.
Yeah, it's terrible. So part two of my question: which casino or which area do you like to play at the most that you've been to? Right, because you've been to Biloxi, you've been to Vegas, you've been to a lot of different places. So is Atlantic City your favorite, or is Biloxi or Vegas more preferable to you?
If I had to choose which place I like the best, and granted, I've only been there twice, I really enjoy Biloxi. The atmosphere there, the dealers there are so professional, especially at the Hard Rock and the IP. There, it it's just a different atmosphere. As far as Vegas goes, I'm out there at least once, sometimes twice a year. But when I'm out in Vegas, there's so many casinos I can choose from where I want to play, where it's to my advantage. One of the places I feel I have an advantage of playing, Treasure Island. Their table is like Tropicana, nice and hard. Bellagio are nice and hard. And you have to get there at the right time where the table's 15.
Yep.
Of course, they grandfather you in, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I had that
That's good to know.
opportunity when I was out there for the first Casino Tears experience, where it was me, Ed Robinson, and Matt. I can't think of Matt's last name, but his handle's Lord Toranaga. Hell of a nice
Uh-huh.
guy, and we had a nice roll there. I mean, they actually raised the limit to like $50 when we were at the table, and the pit boss said, ignore the sign. Apparently there was a group that was coming over to the table that they dealt with earlier that was drunk. When they saw the limit, they walked away and they put it back down to 15. They just didn't want to deal with them again.
That's a great crew. You gotta love a crew like that.
And when I was there later on by myself, there was one guy that was getting real excited at Bellagio, and the pit boss went over there and told him, "Sir, I know you're excited, but we don't do that here." They like a nice, respectable game where they don't want all the hooting and hollering, which I thought was kind of nice, because the last thing you want is somebody knowing there's a hot table, and what happens? People start buying in the middle of a
Yep.
roll. They ruin it. So
Yep.
I thought that was kind of neat. And there's a couple other places I like in Vegas, Paris for one. Granted, the first time I played at Paris, I was with Ed Robinson, and I hit the 5.5 bet. So there's a reason.
Shocker.
There's a reason why I like that. And there's a couple other places as well, but I kind of stick to Caesar's properties because of the rewards that I get. So as my grandkids call me, cheap.
No, you really
They're supposed to call me Chief, but my granddaughter couldn't say Chief, came out with cheap, and it has stuck ever since. So I try to stay with Caesars this way. I don't have to pay resort fees. I can get my comp rooms, and it helps out.
It's very nice that Caesar's properties are mainly on the right side of the strip. You know, just all down. You can take the monorail even and just go from Caesar property to Caesar property. It's really convenient there.
Right.
Um, so we have to get into it because uh, you've gone by so many names. Steel Legion is how I first came upon you in the YouTube world. But when I first got to play with you, that's when I learned about 2% Lou. So let's go into the 2% Lou first as the handle. And how did you get that name? And uh,
Two
did
percent
you like
Lou.
that handle, or did you want to be called something else or nothing at all?
2% Lou came out of how I was playing Mr. Press It Joe, where
Yep.
he just presses everything, where he's winning a couple of thousand, I'm winning $100, $200. But if he's losing hundreds of dollars, I'm winning $3, $4. So he gave me the handle 2. And it stuck because I was very conservative. Because like anything, I hate to lose. But I have expanded. I'm getting better. And then the handle Sweet Lou came from Ed Robinson, and that happened at the Big Muddy meetup in Tunica, Mississippi, in April of 2024. Ed was on a coffee run, and he was down to like his last couple of dollars. I bought in. It was my turn to shoot, and I just kept hitting sixes and eights. And it was at a crapless table. And if I wasn't hitting the 6 and 8, I was hitting the 3 or the 11. And I really didn't understand how to bet on crapless at that point because it was new to me. So I just stuck to what I knew. And the next thing I know, Ed's got these black chips, the purple chips. He's already above his buy-in and then some. I hit the ATS for him, and he just kept keep going, Sweet Lou, keep going, and that's how Sweet Lou took over in its place. But
It really has.
I owe a lot to Ed, not only as a mentor, but as a true friend who I also consider a member of my family. He's taught me a lot. We keep in contact with each other. Uh, Unfortunately, that Tunica trip, he had to deal with a tragic event with his son, which a lot of us in the craps community know about. And then it wasn't a couple of months later that my family had a tragedy. My oldest son and his wife lost a baby at birth. So Ed heard about it, and he reached out to me, and we talked, and it really helped. Really helped.
Ed's a great guy. And loved meeting him and just talking to him. And we'll shift into some of the casino tier stuff because I want to pick your brain on that, and then we can also just keep talking about Ed and Tenton because they're both great guys. Before we get into the casino tier stuff, though, gotta let you guys know because I just said Ed and Tenton are great guys, but I gotta tell you how great they are. For everybody at home, just so you guys know, it's a Full of Chips exclusive. Okay. There is a discount code for anybody who listens to the podcast and you want to use it. For the month of December, you can go on to casinotiers.vegas. You can buy dice, you can buy clothing, hats, mugs, whatever it may be, that you want from Casino Tiers. You get a 15% discount by using the code FullofChips15. I will put it up on the screen for the folks at home. But go support Casino Tiers. Go support Ed and Tenton. Two great guys. We're going to talk about them here a little bit. And if you want actual legitimate casino dice to practice with, that's where you should get them from. Don't buy the shit on Amazon. It's garbage. Okay. We've all bought them. We have them. They're not good. All right. And Ed and Tenton are giving you a great deal on that kind of stuff. Many colors, all that. if you want your hunting license and your hunting caps and all that kind of stuff, go over to casinotiers.vegas. Full of Chips 15 will get you 15% off. Blue. Casino Tiers, Ed and 10 ton. I got to tell you first, I'm jealous. I really am jealous about going to the Casino Tiers experience. I will get there one day. I really do want to go, but give us kind of your little, I guess, high level summary of the Casino Tiers experience and like what you learned in terms of shooting and all that kind of stuff from that experience.
I'll start off with the experience of 10 tons condo. It's right next to the area on the strip. He's on one of the higher level floors, and out his window, it's a beautiful view. A matter of fact, you could watch the F1 that they just had from his viewpoint, from his living room. But you have to
Yep.
sit in front of the craps table because that's where the craps table is. And that's where the Casino Tiers experience is held at 10 tons condo. That's why it's limited to 8 people, not only because you're dealing with one table, is because you're dealing with a lot of one-on-one. The expertise, the passion, and the mentorship that Bo Parker, dice coach, and Ed Robinson, of course, roll to win, it changed everything for me. They have different perspectives that help me see different points of view. For instance, Bo's philosophy, if you're tossing the dice, you got, say it's a $15 table, you throw a 7 or 11. His method is to stack the win, stack it right on top of it. Where Ed is collect, put it in your rack. Two different philosophies, and I've done both because I've learned to have a come out game because of those two, especially Ed, especially when
What?
Chris is shooting.
Lou with a come out game? Come on.
Yep.
You need a come out game when Lou's shooting too. Cause like you really do. You really need one. We've talked about it on the podcast and stuff before with come out games. We did a whole episode on it. But I don't think many people realize like how important a come out game can be to your game of craps. And it's like unlocking a new level almost when you develop that come out game. And then, you get somebody like Lou who throws 3 12s in a row. And, my world bet's at 100. And I'm just sitting there like, Lou, please throw one more horn, please. And I've collected plenty off it already, so I'm good. But like one more would be real nice.
Well, that's why I love Bone Tracker, because it gave me the opportunity to know what dice set for my mechanics gives me 6s and 8s and horn numbers.
Yep.
And if you have that come out game, you have a 33% chance of hitting a 7, 11, aces, ace deuce, or 12. You got 33% chance of hitting your come out game. Why not take advantage of it?
Yep.
I mean, back to the experience, the hands-on training that they give you really gives you knowledge and a real-time feel for it because you're practicing on a live table, not a live table, but on a regular table, and they're showing you different bets. They're also telling you how to really, based on your mechanics, to hold the dice. For instance, Bo immediately saw when I held the dice, instead of shooting straight with my dice straight out from the deck, I have mine cocked a little bit. And he asked me, why do I have them cocked? And when I explained to him that my thumb was broken in high school, that if I toss straight like most people do, the dice curve into the right corner. So when I cock them, they'll go out straight. And he watched and he goes, you're right. And how did you figure that out? I said, by watching my dice keep going into the corner. And then when I got my tossing station, I followed it with I had a ruler that went straight down and I can see them. And then I just held my hand out where I would toss it and I saw how my hand was cocked. So I cocked my hand straight. And when I brought the dice down, they were on that angle. And that's how I started shooting. And it worked out really nice. And then with Ed teaching me how to hit my landing zone more consistently really improved my game as well. They're both great mentors. You'll learn a lot from both of them from different viewpoints, and some viewpoints are different, but you can accept that because they're coming from two different uh perspectives. And granted, they're
Yeah.
two different perspectives, but their teachings come together. They're not separate. For some reason, they come together, and it really works out nice.
They're
I
not opposing views. They're complementary.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yep, yep. And the overall experience is great. And then you get the opportunity when it's all over, uh, with Fran's 10 tons connections, they're able to get themselves a nice table as a group, a private table, to do their thing. And it works out really well for them.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you about that experience is, and you and I have talked, I think you remember the first time you went to the experience because you've been twice, right?
Just
Is that correct?
just the one
Just the
time.
one
But
time.
fortunately enough for me, I've been around Ed a lot, and he has taught me betting patterns and how to bet. Don't go all the way across. Bet on the numbers that are hitting is one of his favorite quotes, which I use now. If the number's not paying rent, take it down and put it on the number that is hitting.
So that's what I was getting into. You and I had talked on the phone about that, and I wanted to ask you, tell us some of the differences between before you went to the experience and then afterwards on the changes between the way you play and the way you toss.
Okay, my toss is more consistent uh, because
We thought it was already consistent.
It was,
uh,
let me tell you.
Ed Ed taught me how to focus my eyes not only on the landing zone, but at a level looking at the diamonds themselves. When your mechanics are working, you don't have to look at your landing zone. It's just a nice flow. So your hand, when you're releasing the dice, keep your follow through, and the dice, your not the dice, your hand should be right where the diamonds are that you were looking at, and of course the dice are going to land in your landing zone, and that has helped a lot. And then Bo and Ed both have basically the same philosophy. Don't bet all the numbers. Why waste money on numbers that aren't hitting? And stay away from all the randoms that you really don't know. Uh, Granted, we all see it. Randoms can throw the ATS and they can go on these long rolls too, and you can miss out. That's why play two or three numbers. Don't play all of them. And one of the things that I've learned, if I'm playing a 66 inside and my five's not hitting, but I'm hitting the nine, take the five and stick it on the nine. Now you're getting double pay, so to speak. And as you both know, I like to regress. So if I'm at a $10 table, I'll go 66 inside, and the first hit, I'm regressing the five and nine down to $10 because now they're paid for because you get paid 21. Now the only thing that I'm exposed is the $36 on the 6 and 8 total. And if I get another hit on them, then I drop them down to 12 each. I like to survive, but unfortunately, sometimes when you have four PSOs, me included, the other day, and three others in the AC group who I won't name, all four of us had four PSOs in a row. It hurts and it happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta try to avoid the PSOs, but like you said, they happen, and as Ed says, he can PSO with the best of them, so you just gotta kind of forget about it really and just keep moving on, and then continue your betting patterns. But again, for the folks at home who want to get a discount, full of chips 15 is your discount code for the casino tiers website. It's all linked down below. Forgot to mention that before, but I will put up text that says that. Their link to their podcast is also down below, so go check out Ed and 10 ton, and I don't know, maybe something will be coming with them. Who knows? Sneak peek. I don't know. But Lou, have you had any other training from anybody else? Because obviously Bo and Ed at the experience plus, just talking with Ed and stuff. But have you taken any other classes or anything?
No. The other thing I can tell you about Ed and Bo is in even Gargoyle. Granted, the guys in the AC group have been telling me for the longest time, trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. They have told me, you got a great toss. Trust yourself. Start being a little bit more aggressive. And that's what I have been doing. I've been starting to expand faster than I normally would to other numbers.
As you should.
Yep, perfect example is Anthony Canine. He was always telling me, trust yourself. Go out there and just do it. Trust yourself. The same with Mr. Presser, Joe. And
Yep.
Clay, of course, because I play a lot with Clay. And they, meaning Bo, Ed, and Gargoyle, have told me, trust yourself, be more confident in yourself. And that ex- casino tiers experience has brought that extra confidence out in me.
So I was going to ask you a question about uh, bankroll, money management, and discipline. We know that discipline is your go-to. So, uh, what is your philosophy on discipline?
My philosophy on discipline. I stay disciplined by avoiding the prop bets. You rarely see me with any hard ways. And as you know, the ATS, the insides on occasion, which that hopper that, oh, geez, I can't think of Chris's
Sideshow.
Gamble, who I miss his videos. Really nice guy, but
Yeah.
he's serving our country. Um, and I apparently hasn't had time to do anything at this point. And when I saw that hopper move, I was really impressed with that. And I do that on occasion when I'm ahead. And even
He's
then,
referring to the get to the Hoppa strategy. Chris will put it in the description.
yeah, it's real. It's a real easy. Hypothetically, at a $10 table, you hit the 8. It pays 14. You take $2 out of your rack, and you hop the inside for 16. The only ones that you're not hopping are the hard 6 and the hard 8. And if the inside hits, your whole inside play is paid for.
Yep.
Basically, it's 32 and down plus the $14 you just won. There's $48 right there.
It makes some dealers' heads spin, but it's really not that complicated.
Right.
Like some dealers overcomplicate it, and I will say some casinos with their stupid payouts with the 15-4-1 and the 16-2-1, it does make it a little bit more complicated for some, but it's really not that complicated of a play. But on Lou, it's a great play because Lou's just nailing the damn insides all the time.
But I think what's great is that it's Lou's intent. Lou's intent is
Yep.
to get his 6 and 8 paid for, and then that's it. He goes
Right.
from there. He's
Right.
not hopping all day long while he's playing. He's doing
Yep.
it for a reason, and that's
Right.
different.
To your other question, have I had any other coaching? No. My tossing was all from myself and some of the guys that I play with years ago. I learned is don't throw from positions that you normally don't throw. I mean, when I was at a craps table years ago, it didn't matter where I was tossing. But then again, I didn't have long rolls like I do now from stick left 1 or 2. Will I shoot from stick right 1 or 2? If I have to. And if I am, I'm shooting into the opposite corner.
Just
Not
let
with
the
the
audience
AC
know
crew.
we will move heaven and earth people around the table to get Lou at stick left 1. Okay.
That's exactly that. With the AC crew, Lou is not shooting from anywhere other than stick left 1. And if heaven and earth has to be moved, it will be moved. Because Lou is shooting from stick left 1. And it's funny you mentioned the trusting yourself. So, Ed talks about qualifying shooters, and Craig and I mention a lot that about qualifying shooters and like tiptoeing in and kind of getting a feel for it. Lou is the only person that I don't tiptoe on. I'm full sprint as soon as Lou gets the dice in his hands. If he PSOs and catches me, well, because I know he's going to make up for it on the next toss anyway. So, yeah, Lou's the only person I don't tiptoe for.
What drives me crazy is when I toss the dice, they look so beautiful, and it's a bad result. It's like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Nobody can explain that one. But here's the thing, we've talked about Chris showing up for one day and one day only. And one of the times that it happened, I think during an August multiplier, you, Lou, I actually can't remember outside of Lou and you, Chris, who else went with us over to the Golden Nugget
Clay.
where, oh, Clay. And
And
Lou hit
Tony.
the ATS. Chris was like, I'm done. I'll see y'all. I'm out later. He did
Yep.
it. He came to the casino with what he did. Nothing was going on with Harris. It was all downhill. And somebody
Yep.
said, why don't we go to the Golden Nugget? So we went over there. Lou hits the ATS. I mean, come on.
Tony
Yeah.
was with us too. That was the first time Tony was with the crew.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun actually because yeah, Harris was a shit show that whole morning and afternoon. Like I was barely staying afloat, and by staying afloat I mean not losing literally everything that I brought to the casino with me that day. And again, everybody at home knows if you have listened before, I don't bring everything. I bring a subset amount, right? And I knew I was going for the day, so I brought an amount for the day. But yeah, Harris was terrible. We go over the Nugget. First time around the table was not very good at the Nugget. And then Lou gets the dice, casually pops off an ATS. I don't even think you knew what you needed for the ATS either. I don't know if you did or not, but
No,
when you
I
hit the number, yeah, I didn't think so. Like I knew what he needed because Tony and I were talking because Tony was standing next to me. And Clay and I are looking at each other from across the table because you didn't have the ATS up, did you?
no.
No,
But I got
no, you
I,
didn't.
I knew I hit the one piece when Clay tossed me the dollar chip.
Yeah, yeah, and then
I didn't either.
Lou hits the next piece, right? Lou had a great roll, and then Tony was like, "I can't shoot in front of these guys. I'm not doing it." And we're all sitting there. Let's go, Tony. Do it. Do it. Next thing you know, 20 something rolls later, just hammering sixes and eights the entire time. He finally sevened out, and then I shot, had a decent roll. I think I hit the small right after that. And then, I mean, I was done. I made back everything plus some I made everything back that I lost at Harris plus some on Lou's roll. Then Tony just brought me up even more. Then my roll brought me up even more. Chips coming in. See ya, AC. I'm out of here. That's Craig calls me the quick hit bandit.
I do have to tell Lou because he's here. One of my favorite times playing with you, I was on the stick right side. Well, two times. First one was you couldn't stop hitting horns and hardways. It's a rare thing. If Lou's hitting horns and hardways, he's having a hard time that day hitting sixes and eights, easies. I think I made eight. I didn't have much. I started off that session with $200, I think, $200 to $300. You made me $800 on just the world bet and hardways.
I remember that day because the one gentleman that was on the left side straight out kept throwing a quarter on the world bet or not the horn bet because I was hitting so well for him. He said, "This one's for you. Throw another one." Yeah, that was a good day.
That's the one where I walked up to you, and I don't, I've never tipped a shooter before. You were the first person I
Right.
ever tipped as a shooter.
Yeah. Well, that's why Lou's got to start playing the ATS on himself because Clay and I are the ones paying him when he hits it. Because Lou knows, and most of the crew in the AC Craps crew knows, as soon as you hit it, you're getting tossed chips from me. You hit the full thing, you get tossed even more. But that's the one nice thing, and Lou's probably experienced this the most from our crew because we're generous, right? We're generous to the dealers, we're generous to our shooters when they shoot well and take care of us and stuff. But we're lucky enough that Lou's had the longest rolls, I think, out of anybody and the most consistent. So Lou's getting tipped the most, but hey, it works out. It adds, 1 extra percent to the 2%, makes him 3%. And a little extra money there.
The funniest thing was at Trop years back when I hit a portion of the ATS at Tropicana and Clay tosses me $1. Well, the crew there didn't understand that we know each other and that's what he does. And of course, Clay tips them more than he does me. And the box goes, "Wait a minute, you're tipping us dealers more than you are the shooter. That doesn't make sense."
Yep.
But that
I
dollar,
do have to credit
that dollar
Lou
means a lot
for.
to me.
I do have to credit Lou because it's not only that we get to play together at Atlantic City, but you know, but between shooters, or if there's some downtime, like Lou and I talk, and I have to credit you, Lou, because it was some of the confidence that you given me just by watching you play at that fire bet table. That the day that I had gone through and got to that fire bet table in the evening early evening, and I had 140 buy-in. I talked about it on one of the previous episodes here. Had 140 buy-in, and I was like, it's all or nothing. Either I'm going to shoot well or I'm not going to shoot well. And I was at stick right one. I'm going to guess. I'm pretty sure you were at stick left one. Clay was on the table. Larry was on the table. Airborne Aces. There might have been some other people from AC crew on the table too. And of course, I think you put a. I don't. Did you put $1 at the time on the
A
fire bet?
dollar on the fire. I'll
A
put a
dollar on the
dollar on
fire bet, and it goes up to 5. And that's when I hit the 5-point fire bet.
Well, I still remember when you were going out to Vegas for the first time, you called me and said, Lou, I screwed up. I said, what do you mean you screwed up? I left my bankroll home. Where do I go to play cheap? And
Gotta go downtown.
I took you over to Ellis Island. I told you go to Ellis Island,
That's
$5
right.
table.
You told me to go to Ellis. That was great.
And I said, if you don't do well, they got great food.
They do.
Yeah. See, that's one of the other nice things, like with the AC crew, and how much time like we've all spent together, which around the craps table is great, but then also, going out to dinner or going to lunch or breakfast or whatever it is, like it's such a nice time, right? And you brought up the camaraderie before where we can just sit, chit chat, bullshit, whatever it may be, talk about craps, not talk about craps, but we're talking about family, we're talking about whatever it is, and it's a really nice aspect of the community and like being able to talk to people and just hang out with them. And like even the wife, she likes to come down really just to talk to Lou. She doesn't really care about me playing or anything. She wants to talk to Lou and see how Lou's doing. And it's always funny to me because like I feel like every time she steals your seat at the table, because Lou's a gentleman, gives up his chair, but she just sits there, talks to Lou, or she takes my chair and talks to Lou. And then when it's time for Lou to shoot, she knows, quiet.
Or she'll
Let Lou do his
take
thing.
Clay's scooter and drive her.
That was the funniest thing. First time ever on the scooter. Didn't have to turn it on. It's just like, where's this thing going? Good times. See, this
Coffee
is
runs
why,
are the
folks
best.
at home, you need to join crew or craps crew or get some regulars to go to the casino with or locals or whatever it may be. Because just the amount of fun you have even away from the tables is even more than the amount of fun that you have at the tables, right? Hopefully you're winning, having a good time at the tables, but just like you can't put a price on just even sitting and talking at like lunch or happy hour or dinner when we all go out to dinner or whatever it may be. Like we just have a great time. And like Lou said, right, we're friends, but we're all like family, right? And like I talk to you guys more than I talk to my family sometimes, right? Like I text my dad, hey dad, what's up? Lou, I'm like, hey Lou, how we doing? How's the wife? How's the kid? How's the kids? How's the grandkids? Whatever. And it's like talking for 30 minutes, and then 20 minutes later, I'm like, oh shoot, I never answered my dad. I should go answer him.
Well, as you said, even our wives, girlfriends, or fiancés, they all get along.
Yep.
It's fantastic. I mean, I know
Yeah.
if I mean, I was down there the other day, and the first thing Katie says is, "How's Debbie? Is she with you?"
Yep.
Same with Victoria. Is Debbie with you? I
Yep.
mean, girls, I got a great picture of Debbie. I think it's Debbie, Katie, and Victoria at Caesars. The one picture.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I think Jen's in there too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Actually, I think it
Justice
is.
Jen made
I
an
think it
appearance
is
in that
Jen.
one.
I think it is Jen, not Katie.
She was
Yeah.
probably in
Yeah.
Lou's pocket.
Unless she has the boots on, then she's not in his pocket.
Right.
Oh man, good times, good times. With the crab stuff, right? We all talk about it. And we've mentioned it a couple times earlier, right? With people buying in and stuff. But like, what pet peeves and superstitions do you have at the tables?
My big pet peeve is people buying in, and then of course, if they're buying in during my roll, I'll put the dice down. And me being me, I'm retired. I don't have to be politically correct anymore. I'll look at them and I tell them, I said, "You gonna make a bet now?" And of course, if they say, "No, no, I'm fine," and then I sarcastically say, "Then why did you buy in now?"
Yep.
That's my big pet peeve. And the other one that's starting to irk me is some of the dealers. I mean, I'll be tipping on my end. Of course, no tipping's going on the other end. And then you hear the dealer go, "No one's showing me any love down here." And it's like, to me, I know it's a service industry, but you're begging for a tip. I don't like that begging. It's really a turnoff and it's two specific dealers that are doing it. And I'm at the point, if I hear him do it again, I'm just going to write a letter like I did about the one stick man that was playing games deliberately on us.
Yep. And then the antics your favorite dealer gets up to, Miss
Yes. Uh,
Miss
I'll be
she
to-
don't listen to this. Candy, she don't listen.
yeah, I'll be tossing the whole time. Then all of a sudden, her shift comes in. Your hands in my face. Your hands in my face. And if it wasn't for the pit boss going, step back. Lou's been there all day, shooting there the whole day. He's not moving. That's what's nice
Yep.
about knowing your crew and having a good rapport with the pit boss.
Lou's being modest. You know, he does bring the, so like Chris brings the Philly out sometimes. Lou brings the Jersey out sometimes. So when he says that he asks the person, well, why did you buy in? He goes a step further. He's like, did you do it to interrupt the game on purpose? Like,
Yep. And you
Well,
know
we
what the
all know-
craziest part of that is? Like Lou, if you ever see Lou in the casino, right? And I said in my intro, like super humble, right? Wouldn't hurt a fly. You buy in during his role, he only sees like red. And it's like, what did you do? Like you committed like a cardinal sin buying in during my role. And it's so funny because he will say it to you with a smile on his face, which I think makes it even funnier. Cause like they're like, you're smiling at me, but you're kind of yelling at me. And like, I don't know what I did. And like, now I just feel really bad. And it's like, good, you should.
And then they get up and they walk away from the table. That's the best part.
Yeah. Yep.
God forbid you're at a table with Lou and Clay, because Lou will start it, but Clay will finish it.
The other thing that annoys me is the late dollar bets getting thrown into the middle when you're in mid-flight, mid toss. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like Hard Rock in Biloxi. You don't. I mean, occasionally you'll get the person that buys in, but even the dealers look at them. Just put it over there. Put it over on the side. But I want in. Not right now. And what I thought, not what I thought, is what I saw there. What was kind of interesting is when we had the Brown Water Bash. The one dealer asked the boss, "Hey, can I take some money out of our tip jar and start betting with these guys?" And they did.
There you
They
go.
let him, and it was interesting. I mean, I
Unheard
thought
of.
that was kind of neat.
I
And
like
yes,
that.
yes, they did well.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. That crew shooting for sure. And that just goes to show you, right? Everybody likes to think like dealers aren't gamblers. Dealers are some of the most degenerate gamblers you will ever meet.
Have you ever had problems with dealers where you had to speak to them like you do a person who buys in?
Yes. Matter of fact, I didn't have to. Paulie kind of did the talking. The one gentleman that was at the stick, he kept doing the stick in front as I'm getting ready to
leaning?
dice. So I put the dice down. I said, "Sir, can you stop putting the dice in front?" So he doesn't. Then he starts twirling, spinning around himself. Put the dice down. I looked at him. I said, "Come on." And before I said anything, Bully just jumped all over him. So now I get the dice, and he lays the stick down across the dice. And I was like, "Really?" He says, "Well, I don't know when you're going to be ready." I said, "Well, I'll be ready when you're stop with your twirling, playing with the stick, and trying to interrupt me." And then Paulie just jumped all over him again, and I had enough. I mean, everybody turned their bets off. I threw maybe another 4 or 5 tosses and then 7 down. But that was my first letter to the casino. When I got there, the main guy that's usually there in the morning came right up to me, told me that they took the letter seriously. They spoke to him, which I know they spoke to him because a couple of days later, when I was playing at night, he was a dealer at the table, and he was like, watch yourselves, guys. You may get a letter." So he was being sarcastic because I was there. So I knew he knew it was me.
Yeah. You see though, like that kind of stuff, like the Philly comes out in me and that just drives me. Like I would have had a field day with that dude the entire session. Like that would have turned into I'm not trying to make money session and I'm just here to just bullshit now and have a grand old time at this dealer's expense.
Well, that was Paulie. The New Yorker came out of Paulie.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I've seen Paulie get a little agitated before,
Yeah.
and I can only imagine what he was saying when this was happening because I was not there for this one. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, Paulie.
Paulie's like Clay, and it's like
Yep.
I don't have to say anything. Paulie's saying it all. All I
Yeah.
have to do is
Exactly.
write
But
the
that's one of the great things
word.
is part of being a part of the AHC crew is, your crew has your back, You're the one shooting. All you want is just the dice to come to you cleanly and in a timely manner so you can keep continuing your toss. And when it gets interrupted like that, you've got the crew around you who are going to fight that battle for you so you can concentrate and focus on your toss.
Right. The word focus. I owe that to Anthony K9. He's like a wingman for me at the craps table. He's like focus, Lou, focus. I mean, when I was on that big 66 roller that day, and the guy's buying in the middle roll, everybody, oh, I didn't have to say anything. Everybody at the table was, and he's sitting there going, focus, focus. And thanks to Anthony, he took over my betting for me. He he actually was tossing money on and putting money on odds for me on the point because that's another thing I rarely do is place odds unless it's a 6 or an 8.
Yep.
Yeah, I owe a lot to the crew. We all look out for each other. It's nice.
I have to bring it up because you're a conversationalist at heart. You love to strike up a conversation. You're one of the few who, when you get to a table, you just start chatting up with the dealers. Plus, it works to make a good vibe when the table's going that way. Um, I have to say, we all know, and we all know some of the names of some of the dealers that really tick us off at Harrah's, but there are some dealers that are just genuinely awesome.
Yes,
And I happen to think one of them is Robert.
yes,
One of my favorites. Always happy, always saying hi, remembers me, like, because we had conversations about Craps for the Cure, and what a great dealer. So, in your experience, like, is there a dealer that you just loved? Like, if you see them at one of the tables, you kind of go toward that table more because of the dealer versus, another
with
table?
Robert, I know there's going to be a positive vibe at the table. What I like about Robert when he's a stick, if you ever go to a carnival, you always hear that guy with that bellowing voice. That's Robert when he calls out the numbers.
The
You know,
carnival barker.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's and then the evening crew has some great guys. Sonny, for one. There's and the pit bosses, Johnny Vegas, and in the morning I get along great with Tom, John,
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I like talking it up with some of the dealers is it creates a nice positive vibe. And the ones that I really get along with know as soon as I get the dice, the conversation stops. And then we start again. There's only
Yeah.
one or two that will have their conversations across in the morning. But when Clay's there, he puts a stop to that immediately. He'll
Yep.
and they know because he'll slide the dice back on the table, and then Clay, in his nice way, goes, "You done yet?"
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he does do that. That's one of my favorite dealers, Mike. I love Mike.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Always have good conversation with him and just good chatter all the time. Like even if I'm in a bad mood, he just puts me in a good mood.
So there's a couple of real good ones, real good ones, and of course there are a few that they're like a light switch. One day they're Miss Positive, the next day it's like, what happened?
Yep.
What? Like anything, you don't know what's going on in their personal lives. You don't know if they're having a bad day. You kind of try to put that in the back of your mind. And for me, if there's two games going, I'll stay away from that one table because there's a possibility of a negativity being there. And and that's one thing I learned from G. Stay away from something that's negative because
Yep.
it's only going to pull
Yep.
you down too. And now you're going to be off your game.
My last thing I wanted to say just about being at the table with you is that it always seems to work out this way. If Jeff is also at the table, it's Lou then Jeff. That's just the way it is. It's Lou then Jeff. It just has to be that way. Clay is somebody who can move around anywhere, and you'll see him on the end. You'll see him stick right. It doesn't matter. He's got that great little toss where he lifts his pinky, and it's usually into the hook. But he's somebody that can move around. But if Jeff's there, it's Lou then Jeff. I don't mind being stick left 3. I
Well,
don't mind being in the hook.
I think Chris was at the table the one year where it was Clay was on the right, stick right 1. The game started as at a $10 game. After Clay's roll was done, he kept sniping the one guy that was Martin Gale in the don't, and they moved it to a $15 table. They and then after I was done shooting, they bumped it up to 25. And Jeff
And
was
then
like,
3/4.
yeah, Jeff goes,
Yeah.
I want to shoot at least once.
Yep.
So everybody played light and then we all left. And
Yeah, I was good.
the dealers were very upset because there was a very high tipping table because we were making out really well between the first 2 shooters. And I'm trying to think who it was. I can't think of the name of the dealer, but he came up to me and he apologized. He said, "It wasn't us," but he did say something to the boss. "Why'd you do it?" It's because the phone rang.
Yep. That was exactly that. Because yeah, our crew was 3/4 of the table, if not more than that. I think there was only 2 other individuals on the table that weren't part of the crew, and because I was on Clay's side, I was like straight out on Clay's side on the right side, and yeah, Clay's roll, your roll, Jeff's roll, and like 10, 15, right up to a quarter, and right after Jeff was done, literally everybody's pushing their chips in, and they're looking at us like, "What are you doing?" And we're like, "We're not stupid. Like, if you want to keep us at the table, first of all, drop it back down. Oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. All right, fine. We'll go play somewhere else. See ya." And unfortunately for the dealers, because they were not happy, because I remember them raising holy hell almost. Like all of the dealers were like, "What are you doing? Like you're the table's empty." And then I don't know where we went. We went to stand off to the side or something. That table was empty for like an hour straight almost. Maybe like a straggler here and there came in and out. But that table didn't have consistent play until the evening, and we were there in the morning.
Yep. That's when we first met Joe, Mr. Preston.
Yeah.
He was all by himself on the right side in the corner, just going to town on it. And
Yep.
that's how he joined our little crew. And then we played at Caesars in the evening. Yep, that was a great day.
Certainly was. All right, time for one of our favorite segments. We really enjoyed talking to Lou, and we're going to continue talking to Lou here on our top 5. So as we told you, Lou, we go 5-1, and our top 5 list today is the top 5 casino myths that you'll never disprove. So we got to put the disclaimer statement out there, Craig, that we don't talk about these. We haven't talked about them to Lou either, so he doesn't know what we have. We don't know what he has, but we have a common theme on this podcast where somehow we overlap, and sometimes we have some of the same exact spots and stuff. But let's get into our top 5. Craig, I'm gonna come to you first. What is number 5 on your casino myths that you will never disprove?
For me, it's got to be the hot hand myth. Even though every roll is independent, players swear the shooter is on fire, and no satisfaction at the table can convince them otherwise.
There you go. There you go. It's a common one. Lou, what is your number 5 myth that you can't disprove?
The cocktail waitress coming to the table, and here comes the service.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, it's one of those like confirmation bias things, I feel like, right? You notice it when it happens. But I like that one. All right, my number 5 is the don't pass player ruins the table. They have zero bearing on your bets, your game. You think they break your mojo. They have no impact on your stuff unless you let it have an impact on your shooting and all that kind of stuff. Now, we love to snipe a don't player, don't get me wrong, but they do not affect anything at the table. All right, they're just playing the game. All right, Craig, number 4.
All right, number 4, lucky charms and rituals. From a rabbit's feet to dice blowing, gamblers cling to their talismans. The casino won't argue. It adds to the atmosphere. Although now they don't want to allow you to blow on the dice. That's faux pas after COVID.
Yeah, good. One of the good things that came out of COVID. Stop
Yeah, I don't
blowing
need you
those damn
spitting on my
dice.
dice.
Literally. All right, Lou, number 4.
Dice off the table, turn your bets off.
There you go.
That's Chris
I
doing it.
like that. Yeah, I do
No
it.
matter how
I'm
many times the
guilty of
dice
it.
go off the table, bets go off right and left.
Yep. I do it all the time. I'm the first one. I'll hold my hands up. I do it all the time. And it's a myth. I don't know. Got no impact on shit, but I don't know. It makes me feel good sometimes, so I do it. All right, number 4. We knew there's going to be overlap somewhere, so Lou and I are overlapping here. The cocktail waitress or the stick man is cursed. When they come to the table, 7s immediately follow.
I have to say something about that. Anytime one guy, Mike, comes from break to stick, I turn my bets off because the 7's coming. It's only Mike. 3 times he came to the table on shift. I turn my bets off. 7, 7, 7. And I looked at him. And he just went like this because he knew.
Yep. All right, Craig, number 3.
All right, number 3, the cold table curse. When everyone's losing, players insist the table itself is cursed. Dealers smile, knowing it's just variance, but the legend lives on. We all do this. It's a cold table. You even go up to the dealer when you first come into the casino, how the table's been. They're cold, man. It's been like this all afternoon. Just change your bets. Change the way you bet. If you want to stay on the table on a cold table, just change your bets.
Heat it up. Lou, number 3.
Number 3 is when the shooter turns his bets off and I don't when he's still shooting. 7 hits. I can't prove
Yep.
it. It happens a lot. And of course, if I do follow him, he's fine.
Yeah. He hits the most pressed up number you have
Exactly.
without fail. All right, number 3 for me is the dice know what you're betting and they're there to get you. Doesn't matter if you increase your bet, whatever you do, the dice know and they're going to do the exact opposite. Some people believe it. It doesn't happen. The dice are inanimate objects. They don't got a clue what the hell's going on. Craig, number 2.
Number 2, this is the myth of the dealer controls the dice. Some players believe dealers have mystical influence over outcomes. Reality check, dealers just slide the dice back, but the myth persists. Now, I do have to say, a dealer returned the dice to me one time with a 6-1 on top, and I told them, could you move them back to the center and bring them back to me, please? And roll them towards me so they're random. And he did, but imagine that's got to be one of the biggest really probably more of a superstition is a stick returning your dice with a 7 on top.
When I was in Biloxi, the stick did that too. I will say who it was. Slid him to him with the 7. He literally took the dice, tossed them, but he tossed them so hard and so high, they just kept going.
That's great. Lou, number 2.
Number 2, I'm gonna have to go with. I do it all the time. If an ace deuce comes out, I turn my bets off for 3 rolls.
There you go.
I've seen it. I've witnessed it.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes you get hot on those ace deuces, so you're off for a little bit.
But that's when
But
Chris and I play the
only
world
when
bet.
somebody else
Or
tosses.
the
It's only when somebody else tosses them, because if I'm tossing and if I'm using a 1-3-1-2 or a 1-5-1-3 set, I expect that ace deuce. So it's part of the dice
Oh, okay.
on action.
Yeah.
But if it's somebody else, my bets are off.
There you go. All right, number 2 for me is a little bit of deja vu, Craig. The hot shooter myth. People swear you're hot, and they're gonna stay hot. Each roll's independent, folks. Don't matter. Don't matter. You're either catching a good roll or you're not having a good roll. Again, Craig mentioned it, variance. It happens. But some people get so stuck in on it that it's not random, and they are the gift to the craps table. It's not. You're not, but you can think you are for the time being. All right,
That's one of
Craig,
my biggest
numero uno.
bits of discipline that I learned over time, which is when a shooter is hot, the very next time they have the dice, I either stay and don't bet for a little bit and just wait till like the 3rd or 4th roll and see what happens. Because normally it's just a short roll. I can't
Yep.
prove it either, but oftentimes if they were hot on the previous time they had the dice, the next time they had the dice, there's nothing doing. They're not going to do the same thing twice. All right. Number 1 for me, you're down. The big win is just around the corner. You're hoping no matter how long the losing streak, us gamblers, we could just convince ourselves that the next roll, spin, or hand in blackjack will turn it all around.
There you go. All right, Lou, the number one myth you can't disprove.
Seven's coming out after the ATS is hit, or a portion of it. It's coming
There you
out.
go.
Seems
That's a
like
big one. Yep, that's a big one. I'm guilty of that one too. On sides, I will turn my bets off for one roll or two, see what happens. But yeah, it feels pretty common that people like to throw sevens after they hit a leg. Could be the delay because of the payouts and stuff. Depends on the casino though. Some casinos won't pay you out right away. They'll wait till the shooter's done. Which I guess could be good or bad depending on your viewpoint on that one. But
But
it's
here's
a
something
common
that I've
one.
learned to do. Like Lou says, you turn them off, and we've all turned them off. But keep playing the game. Turn your boxes off,
Hop
then
the
play the
number.
field or
hop the
play,
number.
Yeah.
play the horn. Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yep.
you got your 6 or 8 or any number up there high, up that particular number.
Yeah, or hop the Reds. Just don't say you're hopping the Reds.
Yeah, exactly. Yell it out for the whole casino to hear. I'm hopping the Reds. Don't do that.
Yeah, but the dick move that dealers will do is there'll be those dealers that call that shit out. He's hopping Reds. Like, you're an asshole. I slid that money to you silently, and you're gonna do that to me?
Funny. Dealer did that to me at Baja Mar a couple weeks ago. I was playing the Don't Come. Because these guys are just drunk idiots end of the table. And I watched them shoot and it was just miserable. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just bet the Don't Come, get 2 set, maybe I'll stack some odds up, we'll see what happens. And I placed my bet down, I'm in the hook. Placed my bet down quietly. Dealer goes, "What's that?" I was like, "Don't Come." And he goes, "Don't Come bet." I'm like, bro, I'm standing in the hook for a reason.
Right.
I'm placing this bet by myself for a reason. Shut up. And then I did it again, and he announced it again. And then here's what happens, though, right? Dealers, gotta be careful. If there's any dealers listening to this, because I was the only player at the table tipping, right? You guys both know how I play when I'm tipping, right? I have line bet for the dealer, plus I'm playing on the boxes, other stuff. He announced it the second time after I made a face with the first one. I was like, why'd you have to announce that? Second time he announces it. And then my immediate response was, oh shit, I guess there's no dealer bets on the next shooter, which was me. And the stick immediately looked at the guy and was like, what are you doing, man? And I was like, karma's a bitch. And I had a good roll on that one too. They would have made some money, but no, because DJN is stubborn as all hell. All right. Number one for me, and this one might be controversial for people. Number one myth I can't disprove: dice control. It works. It doesn't work. I don't care where you sit on this one. If you like dice control, good for you. I do too. You don't believe in it, good for you. I don't care. If it helps you be consistent, helps you hit common numbers, let it rock. If you don't believe in it, shut your face, bet how you want to bet, and don't say anything about it. Don't come at people who do believe in it and who practice it, because hopefully they'll make you some money, and let them do what they want to do. Good top 5 list. I think that went pretty
Love it.
well, even though that was a
Good job,
tough
Lou.
list. So Lou, credit to you, because that was not an easy list. That was a tough list. That one had me thinking for a while. But great top 5 list. Thank you for taking part in it. And going to get to our tip of the episode, and this one is special for our guest. It goes right along with a lot of things we've been talking about today. Craig, what is our tip of the episode?
Our tip of the episode is cash out small wins. As Lou has said before, if he goes away from the table $4 richer than he was when he got to the table, it's a win. Cash out small wins. I'm learning this myself right now with sports betting. I'm making these bets with $1, $3, and they're hitting for 12, 17, 29. They are small wins, people. But you know what? Small wins stack up.
Yes, they do. Lou, what are your thoughts on small wins? Good, bad?
They're
I know
good.
what your thought is, but
Yep, they're good. Every win counts. Even a very, very small loss is a win.
Yep.
And if you're with the crew, my philosophy is you can't put a price tag on the camaraderie. You can't. Like I said, some of the individuals have helped me out a lot in my game and in my personal life. I can't put a price tag on them.
100%. Yep. any win is a good win. Even if it's a social win that you got to hang out with some people, still a good time. But yeah, don't be afraid to rack up those small wins. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to hit home runs all the time. We talk about it all the time. Even if you don't hit your win goal, but you hit a win, good enough. Call it good. Live to fight another day, and come back and hopefully win some more.
Or
Yeah,
if you break even, that's
Life is
breaking
too,
even is a
life
win.
is too short. Keep yourself positive and enjoy yourself.
100%. That's a fact.
Your word.
Um, Great episode 20, Lou. We have to thank you for one, coming on our podcast, but two, for and this should be number one. I'm just stupid, but this is number one, for being you, and for being our friend and our family, and for everything that you've contributed for the two of us, and hanging out with us, and all the time we spent together in person, and then talking on the phone, texting, all that kind of stuff. We really appreciate it, and we're super glad that we could have you on and get to talk with you a little bit more, and you get to share, some insights into, your philosophies and your gambling experiences. So we want to thank you sincerely for taking time out of your day to come chit chat with old Craig and I.
I appreciate the opportunity. I know somebody else that would love to come on your show, if you don't mind me saying who it is.
Go ahead,
Clay. Clay would love to come on your show.
Grandpa.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Uncle Clay is welcome
Grandpa.
anytime.
Grandpa's on the list. Don't you worry. I can show you the list. Grandpa is on here. And Grandpa will be reached out to soon
He is
enough.
on
I'll
the
probably
list.
see him at all the Christmas events and whatnot. But
You can have
yeah, we
Victoria
gotta.
interview him.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to have a fourth guest on that episode, and I'm gonna have to have the wife on. And yeah, but then again, we might not talk crap. She's just gonna talk about her the whole time.
That's funny.
But no, great episode. Hey, I'm gonna give you the final out and final words. Just want to let everybody get at home know. If you need to contact us, fullofchipspodcast@gmail.com. If you need to find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Full of Chips Podcast, full-length episodes on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. The Patreon link is down below. Go in there, and then don't forget, if you want any casino tiers, dice, or merch or anything like that, link is down below. Full of Chips 15 will get you 15% off your purchase. Shout out to Ed and 10 Ton for hooking us up with that promotion. Craig, I'm going to turn it over to you to take us out on episode 20.
Well, first I want to say thank you, Lou, for joining us for episode 20. That's what makes episode 20 monumental, a monumental milestone in the podcast, but to have you as our guest. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to personally thank you. I talk about you to my wife when I say Lou, she now knows who I'm talking about. I have a lot of respect for all of you in the AC Craps crew, because I know a lot of you are former military, police officers. My wife's whole side of the family were with the police department. My whole mother's side of the family were with the fire department. So I have a lot of respect for all of you in blue. And I love talking to you when I'm up at AC. It's such a joy to meet you when I first met you and talk to you, and the conversations we have on and off the craps table. Love playing with you, playing beside you. You are the kind of person that makes it worthwhile to go anywhere and play. Just having you at the table makes the table a better table. You always put out a positive vibe. So thank you, Lou. I look forward to talking to you in our private talks, plus at AC Craps meetups and other multipliers. So thank you again for joining us for Full of Chips. And Chris, Full of Chips makes me full in my heart that we had Lou here. So Lou, you're part of the reason why we're Full of Chips.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled, very humbled.